Hey, welcome to the Restaurant Coach Podcast. It is the cure for the common restaurant. Woohoo! Zack Oates in the house from
What's up, Donald?
Ovation. Oh my God. It's been so long. It's like I feel like we're getting the band back together.
I know. Well, every time I see you, no matter how long it's always been too long, Donald.
Oh, it's always been too long. I saw you last at the Western Food Show.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And now I'm going to see you in Phoenix here pretty soon.
you mean Phoenix? Yeah. If you don't know, I've probably mentioned it 100 times a day recently. Yes. I'm holding my annual Restaurant Success Summit here in Scottsdale, Arizona, October 24th, 25th, 26th. I've got 7 other amazing speakers, and one of those is going to be Zack. He's going to drop some knowledge bombs about text message marketing, about setting up your digital platform, how you can actually start using technology to really drive engagement. And what that does, that turns into people coming back more often, which that does, it turns into more money in your bank account, which is always a good thing.
Amen.
That's always it, right? Cha-ching,
Amen.
cha-ching. We were talking just before the show started. Zack was talking about, he's of course he's a tech company and he does a lot of fundraising, and they basically just raised some money for the next round of innovations and new upgrades over at Ovation. And he acted like it was so casual. Like I was like, he's like, it's like, what'd you do today, Donald? I went out and I got a sandwich for lunch. What'd you do, Zack? I raised a couple $1 million. Like, it's like, oh my God. It's like,
well, it's tough, right? As a CEO of a tech company, especially one that's VC funded,
yeah,
it's like part of my job is to raise money, right?
that's
So
true,
it's like,
true.
yes, I celebrate when a sales rep closes a deal. That's also their job, is to close
That is their
deals,
job.
right?
Yeah.
And so, I look at raising money as like, hey, that's part of my job.
That's it. Just like a restaurant owner, your job is to make profits.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's part of your job.
That's right. The best that is the best tasting food, isn't it? EBITDA. Tastes so good.
Awesome. Tastes so good. So anyway, Restaurant Success Summit is October 24th, 25th, 26th.
Come party with us.
You're going to come down and party with us. It's going to be a great time. You can grab tickets at restaurantsuccesssummit.com. Just so you know, we keep this group really small because I like to have interaction with the speakers. So if Zack's wandering around, you could grab him and pull him aside and say, hey, man, I love your stuff. I want to ask you some questions that might pertain to my brand, my restaurant. Zack's more than happy. All the speakers I invite to speak are more than happy to sit down with you and give you some of their time, which is different than like most conferences. You've been to some of those huge conferences. I mean, you get up on stage, it's a big stage, you do your thing, and then you're off. You're out.
Yeah, and then there's a line of 20 people that want to talk to you. After 3 of them, security comes and pushes you out into the hallway, and everyone gets like a minute of time. And it's just that's what I loved about your conference last year. So last year is the first time I went, and super happy to come back again because it's just it is such an intimate conference. It's a great place to get to know other restaurateurs, hear what they're doing, and not in a very fluffy kind of way of, what are you doing? It's like, oh, we're optimizing our menu. No, it's like, we cut the chicken cutlets from our menu because of the operating costs and because we weren't getting the theoretical cost was just too far out there from what our actual cost. Like, you get very a theoretical cost. How did you measure your theoretical cost? Yeah. Well, this is what we, and I just love that. And the other thing, Donald, that I talk a lot about with people is your sessions you do on like menu.
I always do some killer sessions on menu and food costing, and we got Bo. Remember Bo?
Bo is awesome.
Bo is like, he's off the hook. If you've never been to a session with Bo Bryant, it's worth coming, man. I am like a maniac taking notes. Bo is just all over the place, super high energy. He's a super great presenter.
The cool thing that I saw in the last conference, and when I've seen you present, it's like, Donald, you're able to give ideas of like, here's a way that you can literally change the design of your menu and increase revenue. You're not doing anything else. You're not having to buy new products, do more training, spend more money on tech. It's like you literally change your menu and you grow your revenue and things like that. It's hard to get that very specific when you go to these larger conferences. Not saying the larger conferences are bad. No, that's a great place to go get inspiration, but this is a great place to get specific tactics for your restaurant. And anyway, and Donald is very clear with us in terms of when we are putting our sessions together. It's like, have things that they can go and do. And so it's not
right.
just fluffy strategy, it's specific tactics, which is cool.
Yeah, and then the one thing a lot of people don't know is, like, and we just talked about, like, going to these. Sometimes you go to these big conferences, and they're great for a hype up and get you motivated, get you some new ideas. But then what happens is you go back to your restaurant 2-3 days later, and you don't implement. The beautiful thing I love about the Success Summit is that it also includes a 90-day membership in my mastermind group. So I will be kicking your butt for 90 days after the summit. So it's like, yeah, you come down, get excited, but then I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna hold you accountable that we're gonna get back to work, and then the next 90 days, I'm gonna make you do the work, and I'm gonna help you get better results. So that's what I love about the summit.
What was it? Mike Tyson said, everyone has a game plan until they get punched in the face.
That's exactly it.
Right? And that's what happens. You go, you get inspired, you get a game plan, then you go back to your restaurant, and guess what happens? Your manager doesn't show up. Your boiler runs out. Your chicken goes up to $4 a pound. And what are you going to do with that stuff? So anyway, I love that. Love the inspiration and love the follow through.
Very cool. Hey, so Ovation Up. And I'll be total transparent here. There's very few products I recommend, just as you know. There's very few companies I recommend. There's very few products I recommend. I will tell you now, without a shadow of doubt, with no hesitation, Ovation Up is a must-have of your restaurant. You got to have Ovation Up. It is the future of that touchless interaction and engaging with your guests, especially if you do any kind of delivery service. Because it's almost like the virtual table touch. And you have to, if you have a pizza place, you do burgers, anything that does any kind of delivery, you need Ovation Up to stay on top of the engagement with your guests and find out how you're doing. It is an amazing platform. I'm going to let you kind of talk a little bit about Ovation Up and really what do you guys kind of focus on? How's that?
Yeah, so I grew up in hospitality. My first job was in restaurants. My dad owned a restaurant once he retired from his first career. And I was able to see that and realize that the most important thing in a restaurant is the guest experience.
It is.
And then you get to actually measuring the guest experience. Let's go back in the day. Imagine the perfect table touch, right? Before fast casual, QSR was still kind of coming around. What was a table touch? You walk up, and Donald, you're very familiar with this from opening up all of like Wolf's restaurants, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you go in, and the perfect table touch, you see someone there, and you notice that they're eating their meal, but they ate one fry and then didn't eat the rest. And you go up and you say, "How was everything?" And what are they going to say? They're going to say, "Oh, everything was good." How are those fries? I noticed you didn't grab them. Were they to your liking? Can I get you a different side? Oh, well, they were just, they were cold when I got them. Let me get you another order of fries. Come back with an order of fries. And by the way, you're also bringing a refill of their drink because you noticed they're a little low on that. How does that guest feel? They feel validated. They feel heard. They feel like, I'm going to come back here, right? Now you fast forward to today. You've got so many of these casual dining, full service. You have a lot of fast casual, the QSRs. Is it even possible to do that table touch anymore with the type of people that we're hiring, with the challenges of training, with the number of people that we have going through our door, with the limitations of off-prem where you can't even see what they are or aren't eating? You don't have that.
No.
And you layer on top of that this aversion to confrontation of our society, face-to-face confrontation, where if it's good, what are they going to say? It was good. And if it was bad, what are they going to say? It was good.
It was good.
It's
okay. It's fine. It's fine.
And so what we do at Ovation is we've created a frictionless experience for the guest where they can, in 2 questions, let you know how they feel about their experience. Because keep in mind, you are only as good as your last experience.
Exactly.
You can have someone that's been coming to you every other month for 7 years, and if they have a terrible experience, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go down the street. They're going to go 1 click away. And so what we have is it's a 2-question survey. Starts off with how was everything. If they loved it, they had a great experience, and 80% of your guests do. I hate to break it to you, but it is only 80%. Have a 5 out of 5 experience. They go online and share it. We invite them to leave positive online reviews. We invite them to schedule a catering order. We invite them to buy merchandise. We invite them to buy a gift card. We invite them to activate with your brand because they just said yes, I had a great experience, right? Now, if they didn't have a great experience, anywhere between 1 to 4, maybe it was like everything was great, but the fries were a little cold. Or maybe it was like, you totally screwed up my order. That goes directly to you or to your managers, and through the Ovation app that you'll have on your phone. In 3 clicks, you can respond to that guest. Now, to the guest, it's just a text message. They're not downloading, logging in, creating an account. It's super, super simple. And again, our whole emphasis is make it frictionless for the guests to give you their honest feedback, make it easy for you and your staff to respond to them. And then we listen to all of the feedback from online reviews, to all of the feedback through Ovation. And we use our business intelligence to aggregate, analyze, and compartmentalize all of that into over 34 categories. So you can know exactly how you're doing without having to read every single piece of feedback. So that's the power, especially if you have multi-locations. You can't sit there and read every single review and every single piece of Ovation feedback. So we do that for you, categorize it, and then you know what to fix where. So that's the basic heart of the Ovation system. We have a couple of things that we do on the back end, including next day follow-up questions and including text marketing. And we even have services where we can respond for you as you. But that's the heart of what Ovation does. And we do that because right now, if a guest wants to give you feedback, there's 2 ways they could do it. Through a long, cumbersome online, online survey, which very few people do, or maybe you have a contact us form on the bottom of your website. A lot of people right now are rolling their eyes listening to it because they're like, oh yeah, I have that.
I got that. What? I got one of those. Yeah,
right.
I've seen those all over the place.
Guests hate that.
Hate them.
So those are the 2 ways that they can talk to you, or you give them the option of leaving you a online review, which is just like airing all sorts of dirty laundry. And that's
the worst, man. When it gets online, oh my God. And then of course people are not trained how to respond properly. So then it turns into a shit show on the internet.
I wouldn't use those words exactly, but yes, that's the principle. But yeah, and so that's the thing, Donald, is that as I, the reason I started Ovation is because there's got to be a better way. Yeah. You have to have something easier for the guest than these long surveys, more effective for the restaurant than an online review. And that's why we created Ovation. It's text message based. It starts off with just 2 questions, and it's actually driving improvement and operational efficiencies. So these are the things that it's the best of both worlds. And that's why we've been able to, we were at 2 years ago, we had like 200 restaurants we were working with. Now we're working with over 2,200 because what people are realizing is it's not a better way to do the wrong thing. It's the right way to do it. And that's what we're really focused on, is not how do we do things a little bit better than the other long form survey companies. It's how do we do things right for the restaurants? And growing up in restaurants and only working with restaurants, we've been able to build a really killer product to help restaurants.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I love the simplicity of it. I mean, and then it's just so easy to use. And it just makes sense nowadays. Again, everyone wants to overcomplicate stuff. I think the simplistic approach is so much better than anything else you can think of.
And because guess what? It's easy to complicate things. You add to it. What we did, we started with a whiteboard and we said, knowing everything we know about restaurants, knowing the culture of reviews, knowing the consumer desire to not take these long surveys, what should feedback look like? And that's how Ovation was born.
Yeah, I always say, like, I have a chef background. I always chefs love to chef it up. Yeah. You just love to take stuff, just chef it up, man. Let's just chef that shit up. Let's just make it crazy.
Yep. Amen.
So, wow, that's a great dish, man. How many components? 15 components. Wow, that's nice. I love the little tweezers you're using. That's great. Yeah. Can I get I need 12 more of those though right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So what would you say is one of the habits that you would kind of, what habits I've been talking lately on my podcast and the Restaurant Coach Nation on Facebook? What are some habits you think that make you successful?
So I think One of them is
Mhm.
so let me give 2 habits. One kind of theoretical one and a mindset, and one is a practice. So the mindset that I have is God and family first.
Exactly.
So it goes God, family, and then there's a large gap, right? And so if my number 3 priority, if we were running a marathon, number 1 and number 2 come in minutes apart in this marathon. Number 3 will come in like 45 minutes later, you know?
Wow.
So there's a very large chasm between my number 2 and number 3 priority in life, and I think that's really helped to guide my decisions
Yeah, yeah.
on what do I want to do, who do I build value in this world, how to help my family, and at the end, build value for
Mhm.
others to show my family about, the spirit of building and the spirit of creating, and that we were put here on earth to do something more than just clock in, clock out, but we're
Yep,
put here
yep.
on earth to make a difference. And I truly do believe that. And so I have that desire to show my kids
Mhm.
to help do what I was put here on earth to do. And so that mindset, I think, it's hard to break that down into a specific habit, but that's a
Mhm.
mindset that I think is very important. And again, not saying that your top 2 priorities need to be God and family, but just saying that having my priorities straight and knowing what's most
That's
important
important.
to me
That's critical. Yeah.
is really
That's
critical.
super critical.
So that's a mindset. I think a practice that I do that is really important is journaling. I
Ooh,
have
I like that.
journaled I have journaled every single day um, for now it's going on 8 years, and
Mhm.
prior to that, I journaled periodically since 2001. And and fairly regularly. It was like at least once a month I would journal. And now I journal, like I said, every single day.
Yep. I
And
do.
it's so important to be able to have that moment to look back and reflect. And for those who are like struggling with journaling, here's what I do. I answer the same question every single day,
Yeah.
which is, what are 2 ways that I saw the hand of God in my life today?
Mhm.
And what that's enabled me to do is just fill my life with gratitude, because at the end of every day, I'm like, wow, I just like, there's been so many things that have happened good. And even the things that happened that weren't good,
Mhm.
let me try to see what was good that came out of that. And so those are things that for me, I just feel really grateful to, and that again, having that gratitude, I think the last thing I do at night is helps me to start the day well the next day. And it helps me to commit to do better. And it helps me
Mhm.
they've actually done a lot of studies that have shown those who journal every day are more likely to be honest,
Very true.
because I know that at the end of the day, I have to give an accounting to myself of myself. And if I'm dishonest with something during the
Yeah.
day, then I'm like, oh man, like I knew I should have done something better. So anyway, so that's a mindset, and that's a practice that I feel like is something that I've attributed a lot of my focus to.
Yeah. I use an app that's called 5 Minute Journal, and I love it because it asks you the same questions every day. And again, what you say, it gets you in a routine. And then one of the questions is like, what am I grateful for? Name 3 things I'm grateful for. One of the questions is like, who needs me to be in my A game today? And
Yeah.
those are like questions like, can make you just remember I'm like you. I'm serving other people. I'm not just, I'm not existing just for me. I'm existing because I want to help restaurants. My goal is like you. I have a very big, ambitious goal. I want to help 1 million independent restaurants around the world
Boom.
break free from their restaurant running their life, and
Love
have
it.
everything they want. But
It-
yeah, it's huge. I mean, journaling, I think it changed my life too, in the sense that it makes me, again, it holds me more accountable to myself,
yes.
which is huge.
Yep.
I noticed behind you, you have a poster on your wall with some core values
Oh, you
on a
betcha.
shoulder.
Yeah.
I'm
We
huge about
focus.
core values.
Oh, we focus on core. I feel like core values are just so critical, and so often it's
Mhm.
easy to just forget about them. I think that as I look at our core values, one of the things that we do. So first of all, let me just read off our core values:
Yeah.
be a partner, build value, celebrate, default to how, and keep focus. And one of the ways that we celebrate every single month is everyone at Ovation has a bonus.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
it's
cool.
a monthly bonus that they have to give to someone else.
Ooh.
And so what they do is every month we send out a survey, and it says who deserves your ovation this month. And so they give a name of who deserves it. They give what values they exhibited, and they tell specifically what happened when they exhibited those values. And so that's something that we do to make sure that to instill in everyone that they're always thinking about these values, because we truly do. I mean, those 5 values, that's how we do business at Ovation.
Yeah.
That's how we hire. And that's what we really
debate.
care about.
Yeah, it's not open for debate. It's not open for negotiation. It's what I say my core values are non-negotiable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not open for debate. It's not open for interpretation. It's not open for,
And some of them are a little bit controversial to like our investors, right? Keep focus, for example. And with keep focus, what that means is family, beliefs, health, job, get it done in order. That's what that's the whole premise of the keep focus. So for example, how does that actually play out? Well, in the evenings or on weekends, we schedule our Slack messages and our emails to go out later, like the next day, or to go out on the Monday. So we don't email over the weekends, because I want people to keep focus on their family. We celebrate when people like go into the gym, hitting their health goals. These are things where you can't do them simultaneously. Like this concept of balance, I don't believe in. What I believe in is everyone has a cup for their priorities in life, and each cup is a different size, and you need to allocate enough to each cup to make sure that it's filled. And for me, for example, I don't have like a huge workout cup, right? Like I don't need to go work out 2 hours a day. There are some people who they have to, or they get all antsy, right? But for me, like I need to spend time with my family every day.
Right.
Other people don't need to. And so it's just a matter of what are your cups? What are your priorities? And how do you keep focus so that you can do them sequentially, not simultaneously? When you're at dinner with your family, put your phone down. Be at dinner with your family, because guess what? You're annoying them by looking at your messages, and you're not thinking clearly about your messages when you're responding to those. So you're doing both crappily. So just keep focus. So that's one of the ones that sometimes
we forget some of those times, though, just like it's so easy to get disconnected. It's so easy to miss those magic moments, that they won't get back.
Yeah, exactly. Because at the end of the day, Gary V, you know him?
Oh yeah.
So he is just so much content he puts out there, but he's got some really good stuff. And one of the things that he talked about, I saw him speak live, and one of the things he talked about is the 5-year plan. He goes, you know what? Everyone talks about the 5-year plan, and they always talk about the next 5 years and what they want to do. And he's like, that's the wrong way to do a 5-year plan.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And he goes, to do a 5-year plan, don't look at your next 5 years. Look at your last 5 years.
Ooh.
Who do you want to have become? What do you want to have accomplished? Who do you want around you? What do you want your life to look like? And are you living today to fulfill your last 5-year goal as opposed to your next 5-year goal? Anyway, and I think that to me, part of that is keeping focus and
definitely
on what you want to do. And again, all of this stuff, it's, you and I are in a similar boat here. And I know we've talked about this before, but like one of the things that's challenging about coaching and about teaching, and about doing some of these like, seminars, or like when I go to church and I do a sermon in church, it's like, it seems it's challenging because no one's perfect at it, at any of it, right? So if I go and do a talk on like, hey, here's how to live a fulfilling life, it's like also a reminder for me of, all right, Zach, what aren't you doing, right? When I go do a sermon in church around charity, it's like, okay, well, when are you not being charitable, right? when I talk about,
Mhm.
the perfect way to engage with your guests, it's like, okay, well, are you engaging with every single restaurant that way at Ovation? And there's always room for improvement in this. So the challenging thing about being a coach is like, you're never perfect at everything, but
Nope.
there's perfect principles that we can all strive to live by.
Exactly.
And it's about learning what those principles are, striving to achieve them, and about being okay with being imperfect and making every day to be a little bit better at that thing, right?
There you
And
go.
I think that those are some things that when I look at our Ovation values, yes, nobody is perfect at all of those things, but we're all trying to. That's in the front of everyone's mind. I think that that's what's really key, is that continuous improvement.
That's it. I'm a huge believer in that. That philosophy of Kaizen, constant
Kaizen, amen.
Kaizen, baby.
Toyota 5Y.
Tell you it is. So, and the reason I brought up your core values, because my new book just came out. Your Restaurant Culture Sucks.
Great book. I have it.
It's excuse me.
I said a great book. I have it.
You have it already?
Yes.
Wait, is that?
Yeah, didn't you give me a copy in California?
I thought I gave you a copy. Did I give you a copy?
Yeah, I have it right here in my office.
The blue one.
Yes.
Yeah, every cover has a different color, so it's like I just call it the blue one. The blue one. It's the blue one. I got an orange one. I got a black one. Now I got a blue one. I'm done with the suck series, by the way. That's it. I'm moving on to a different topic. I have 3 books now with the word sucks in it, so I got to move on to something else. The reason I asked is that this is all about culture, and I saw your core values. If you had to describe the culture at Ovation, what would you say is the culture at Ovation?
I think that's a great question. I think that we are a very open culture.
You know why it's hard to answer?
Why?
And I talk about this with my clients a lot. Culture is hard to answer because culture is not logical. Culture is a feeling. Culture is an emotion.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And so a lot of times when I ask people, tell me about your culture, they give me the deer in headlights look, like, and then they look for the right thing to say. I think we're more like this. I said, okay, but here's the best definition I have of culture. Everyone says brand and culture. It's the same thing, right? No, not necessarily. Brand to me is what your customers, your guests say about you online, to their friends, to their family. Culture is what your team says about you, to their friends, to their family.
Yeah. So
that's the difference. Yeah, it's a feeling. That's why it's hard to define it.
Right, because as you said, what's your culture? It's like words pop into my head.
Yeah.
Like open, like care about, like I feel valued, like my opinion matters, like I'm excited. So those are like the feelings that we get. And when people come here, I think they're surprised that one of our values is to default to how. And that's something that most places they either don't have or don't live by. And default to how is something that we came up with. And it's basically when someone shares an idea, our first reaction is, okay, how do we implement that idea? Yeah. We want to default to how, not default to no, not default to that's hard, not default to it doesn't work, but default to how. And when you dig to the root reason of someone's idea, even if they're a brand new intern or they are the original founder of the company, the idea might be a harebrained, terrible idea. But if you dig to the root reason, there's usually a logic behind that where when you overlay a context that they might not have, there's a different solution to solve that core problem. But you got to dig to the root problem in order to come up with a solution that makes sense. The other part is, even if it's a bad idea, even if there's already ways that you're solving that problem, how does that person feel when you poo-poo on their idea? They feel like my ideas don't matter. So guess what happens? The next idea they have that's brilliant, Donald.
They don't say anything.
They don't say it. Right?
Because I don't want to get shot down. I don't want to get I got squished last time. I'm never not going to say anything this time.
And that's something that's so important to me personally, is like, we default to how here, baby. I want to hear ideas from every single person, and let's talk about them. And I don't want people to be afraid of sharing ideas. I want everyone to be able to openly share their ideas, and that's one of the things that they helps them feel valued, because we look at everyone here at Ovation as a partner.
Very cool. Very cool. So the upcoming summit, you're going to be doing a couple sessions. Give people, don't drop all the gold nuggets, but give people a little teaser about what you're going to be talking about.
You know, if you want to figure out how do you measure your guest satisfaction, if you want to figure out how do I get more 5-star reviews and learn why that's important, if you want the playbook to responding to online reviews and private feedback, if you want to understand how do I not just fix problems with one person, but fix the root cause, and if you want to figure out what are some secrets to text marketing to bring people back in the door and to drive revenue, man, that's what we're going to be talking about.
Awesome. That's perfect. That's going to be perfect. Hey, so let me ask you a really kind of off the wall question. If you were you just bought a restaurant, right?
Yes.
Your first restaurant. What would be like your go-to marketing plan? What would you start with? What would you start with tech right away? What would you implement? How would you get this thing? I mean, we got to get people in the door. What would you do if you were starting a brand new restaurant?
First of all, I go to the menu, right? And I know that like I'm starting a new restaurant. I look at the menu, and I would probably have no more than 5 main items. Very cool. Yeah. I would do a few things, maybe some variations on those, but I would do a couple of things extremely well. And I would have a killer dessert. I'd have a killer main course, and then like a killer side. And that would be like, first of all, doing those things really, really well would be important. Then in terms of marketing, I would take a 3-prong approach of mailers, boots on the ground, going to offices with samples for catering, and online ads to people in my local proximity to get them in the door. And then as soon as they came in, I would be relentless on asking what they think about it, and asking in a digital way where I can collect their data, and then set up drip campaigns to get them to come back in, get them to feel special. So, but those would probably be my three main marketing tactics to get people to get new revenue from $0 to $1.
How often do you think a restaurant should hit their email list?
At least weekly. I mean, with
at
an
least
email,
weekly, right?
With an email, then society has said that's okay. With texting, I would do texting every other week, and I would do emails every week.
Emails every week, texting every other week.
Yep, that's what I do.
Awesome. Perfect. Very, very cool. What's new with Ovation? What do you got? Any secret projects you want to kind of like tell about? I guess it wouldn't be secret projects if you tell. I guess it wouldn't be a secret project if you like spill your guts on this thing.
Well, we just launched Insights, which is that platform, which is our technology that allows you to aggregate and analyze and break down into all those categories, all of your online reviews and Ovation feedback. So that one,
exciting.
That was a huge undertaking. Really excited that one finally launched. And there was a lot of work that went into that. Coming up, we're doing a complete revamp of our Ovation app to communicate with guests, making it even easier to do that, giving more context. And then we've got some cool things coming up with more ways to communicate with guests. So there's lots of channels that a guest can interact with a restaurant. Right. And what we're doing is we're going channel by channel and saying, how do we improve this communication? How do we improve this engagement? And so there's some other channels that we've been working on that I'm really excited about, and they should be coming out, this quarter. But don't hold my feet to the fire on that one, because my head of product would kill me.
Yeah. I know.
And then a lot of it is around integrations, right? We're building some really cool integrations with some really well-known companies that's just going to make it super easy to connect in and just start getting better feedback from your guests, start getting more reviews, start driving more revenue. And so that's something that I'm excited about as well as our partners that we're working with.
Now, just so everyone knows too, I mentioned like pizza places, burger places do a lot of delivery, but Ovation works with any kind of restaurant. I mean, you can set up the model with any kind of restaurant, full service, doesn't matter.
Totally. I mean, with fine dining, I'll put it this way, we have a unique implementation for every type of restaurant and every delivery method. So if you're fine dining, we have QR codes in the check presenters, right? Ooh, if you're a fast casual, we have stickers that we put on the table. If you're full service, we have table toppers that get put in there. Your quick service, we have drive-through ability to collect feedback from customers doing drive-through, as well as stickers in store. And then with everyone, we have integrations with companies like Toast, Square, Open Table, where and over 50 companies where we can integrate with them. So that way the data you're collecting from these other companies can feed into Ovation. And then all of that feedback gets drawn into one place, and we have even different QR codes that you put for dine-in orders versus third-party orders. And we have automatic conversions where you can get customers who ordered third-party to order directly from you the next time. And that's really powerful. Save yourself that 20-30% margin, bring them back in, help them order natively. And that's one of the things that we facilitate for our customers.
Yeah, you're huge about that. That's one of the things you have kind of a mission to help people get off that third party and be more native app.
I refer to it as getting unstuck. And one of the first things that I want people to do is to take I still see it sometimes. Donald, it drives me nuts when I see this. And if you're listening, please take the third party stickers down.
Oh my God, I hate those. Yeah, when I walk in the door, and it's like a wave of stickers on the front door.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Like, you are asking your customers to not give hey, order from someone else where I don't control the delivery, where they're taking 20% of the margin. Yeah. No, take those stickers down.
Take those stickers down, baby. Take those stickers down.
Get unstuck. Free yourself from those third parties.
You got to be free.
Well, and honestly, third party, phenomenal marketing tool. It's a marketing tool.
That's what it is.
Use it as a marketing tool.
That's what it is. Exactly.
And then get that customer data and turn them into your customer, not a DoorDash customer that they're sharing with you temporarily.
Right. Yeah, that's the number one thing. Yeah, we're going to be talking a lot at the Restaurant Success Summit, October 25th, 26th, here in Scottsdale. You can grab your ticket over at the restaurantsuccesssummit.com, restaurantsuccesssummit.com. You can grab a few seats left. If you ever want to hit up Zack, you can always go find him at Ovation Up, one word, ovationup.com. And of course, it's going to be a great event. I got one final question for you, Zack.
Sir.
This is an off the wall one. If you could personalize your car license plate, what would it say?
I would say that's a really good one. Maybe oatmeal, just because oatmeal. For those who don't know,
explain that one.
Yeah, my last name is Oates. And, and so, I feel like
innovation's kind of like it works with food. That could be a meal.
Yeah, right. I kind of feel like oatmeal could be a good one. Yeah. Or deaf to long surveys, but that's a little bit long. So I don't know.
Oatmeal. Where do you live? You live in Utah?
Live in Utah, yeah.
Yeah, so if I come up to Utah and I see a car driving around with oatmeal, I know it's you.
You know it's me, baby.
I know it's you now, man. See, now I know it's you. It's like if you guys ever in Utah and you see a car with Utah license plates that says oatmeal,
that's gonna be me.
That's Zack. That is Zack. That is awesome,
man.
Zack, I appreciate you being here. Always great talking to you, my friend. Always with me.
Always. Looking forward to the summit, and to anyone that's going to join us there, looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Again, Restaurant Success Summit, October 24th, 25th, 26th here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Intimate event. Tickets I'm almost sold out, just so you know. I'm not saying that just to say that. I'm actually almost sold out. So it's going to be, we only have 50 seats. I only allow 50 people. And this year, I don't know, Zack, did you see this year? I'm holding it at a house. I got a mansion.
I'm excited for that.
It's going to be pretty cool. I expect you to be doing some cannonballs.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah. Monday night, we're doing a pizza pool party Monday night at the mansion. And then Tuesday night, we're doing tacos and tequila.
Okay. I love me some tacos. Why not? Let's do it.
I love tacos. I love me tacos. Pork belly tacos, baby. What's your favorite taco?
Buffalo chicken.
Oh, that would be good too. Yeah, maybe we'll get those too.
I love some buffalo chicken with some pickled onions and a flour tortilla.
See, I like corn tortillas. I'm a corn tortilla guy, but I'm older. I gotta watch my carbs. Doc says I gotta watch my carbs. That's what it is. All right, thanks so much. Again, if you need to get a hold of Zach, just head over to ovationup.com. They got a demo on the website. They'll be more than happy to talk to you about whatever your needs are. And again, whatever your restaurant is, Zach has a team in place that can help you implement. Capturing data is, I'm telling you, data is the new frontier. If you're not capturing data, if everybody walks in your restaurant, you're losing out on a huge, huge opportunity to market directly to these people.
Yep.
There's only four ways to drive sales. Only 4 ways to drive sales. I don't care who you are. There's only 4 ways. You can either get new guests to come to your place. That's marketing. Number 2, you can get guests that come to your place to come back more often. That's what Zach does. Okay. You can get guests to spend more money that come to your place. That's also what Zach does. And then 4, you could raise prices, which I always say raising prices is the last kind of resort. I really don't, because it's not sustainable, because you're eventually you plateau out. You can't really keep raising prices every time you need to raise sales. But those first 3 are gold, and Zach's company can help you with 2 of those for sure, and even number 1, because they help get new people to your place.
Yeah, the better your reviews, the more people find you.
That's it, exactly. So no reason not to go check out Ovation Up. We will see you at the summit. Zach, I'll see you here in Scottsdale, October 24th, my friend.
Looking forward to it, Donald.
It'll be great. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for jumping on the call today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.